Hello everyone, in this video course I'm going to introduce you to the world of the Colle system. It's a very easy to learn opening and there are a lot of ideas behind it. And well, I'm going to explain you what the Colle system exactly is. So it's not about memorizing exact moves or learn move by move in an opening, but it's more about developing your pieces in a very nice harmonious way. How it looks like? Well, after d4 and black makes developing moves, we get our knight to f3 and we put our pawn on e3. And after d5, let's say bishop d3, black also gets his bishop out. And here, this is actually the starting point. And basically the video course has been divided in two parts. The first part is about the structures arising after the move c3. This is the Colle-Koltanowski system, as Edgar Colle and George Koltanowski, they were the pioneers of this variation. Back in the 1920s, they developed this system, and it's still very popular. More about it very soon. The alternative, the second part of this course, is based on the move b3, when the idea is to put the bishop on b2 and maybe later on after castling go for knight e5, maybe f4, and later we can still decide what to do with the c-pawn. Keep it on c2 or put it on c4, depending on the circumstances. So there are two lines to choose from. Of course, there are a lot of different setups available for black as well. So my approach to this course is to show you the history of this line, to see how play developed, how people played it back in the early days, in the 1920s and later. So you will see a number of games by Colle and by other strong players as well, Koltanowski. But later it has also been seen the setups with the move c3 still at the highest level. There are some World Championship matches very recently with Ding Liren, Zhu Wenjun. They opted for this sort of setup as well. So it is to avoid theory. There is a bit of theory as well. There are really sharp lines. In a special clip I will give you an information about these kind of modern trends as well. But the main idea behind this course is to learn how to develop your pieces. So White's plan in general is to get the pieces out in a very nice way and later decide what to do with that bishop on c1. Because if you look at the pawn structure, you will see that the bishop has been boxed in by its own pawns. That is not ideal, so we have to find a solution for it. The good news is that it will always happen, and one of the main ideas is to think about when to play the move e4, how to strike in the center, grab space. So it starts very modestly, but eventually White will get quite some nice attacking play. So the bishop can be developed in this direction. But as we will see later in the course as well, in situations where black has a pawn on c5, there are moments in which White can decide to take on c5, play the move b4, and then play also the move bishop b2. And later, maybe with moves like a3 and c4, open up the position. So the bishop on c1, although it's not doing much yet, it will come alive. And well, for more experienced players, this setup is also very well known for people who play the Slav, and in particular the Miran type of structures. There you see basically the same approach, just with black, with the colors reversed, where the bishop on the c file, it's kind of restricted, but it will be activated later on, and it can become one of the best pieces on the board. So it is a very simple line to learn. If you don't want to learn a lot of theory, this is definitely a guide for you. I think a lot of club players will enjoy playing it, because you can often get the first 10 moves on the board without thinking too much. So it saves you a lot of time. So I don't want to memorize exact moves, but I will make you acquainted with a lot of typical ideas, where to place your pieces, how to develop pieces, which pieces to exchange and which ones not. There are, of course, based on that, it's very important to understand how to place the pawn. So pawn play is very important, and I will discuss that on a lot of occasions as well. Of course, you will get to see a lot of tactical ideas, crushing kingside attacks, but also nice little tactical ideas to win material. There are a lot of ideas in that sense as well. Plus, apart from the historical games, there are a few recently played top games in which I will take you through the modern theory by world's best players. And I'll do that both with the setups with the Colle system, the Colle-Koltanowski, but also in the lines with the move b3, the Zukertort setup. And well, interestingly, all these lines, they can be reached by different move orders, especially in the Zukertort system. We even see people playing on the first move 1b3 to get that type of setup. Of course, that has its own drawbacks as well. There are different move orders available, but in general, I would like to stick to the move order starting with 1d4. Well, let's dive straight into the action. I have a lot to tell you, so yeah, let's jump into the action. And at the end of this course, you will get to solve some exercises as well to see if you have become familiar with typical tactical ideas, some theory, typical ideas and tactics. And well, at the end, you will be able to play this opening yourself. Good luck and enjoy the Colle-Koltanowski and the Zukertort opening.